Hi, fourth graders. Today we're going to continue to find the product of a whole number and a mixed number. So we're going to be multiplying a whole number by a mixed number, and basically the same as lesson 37 that you did on Monday. This is just lesson 38. So let's do a quick review. Remember, we learned about two strategies: repeated addition and distributive property. So we're going to go over both of those. I have a problem here. 8 students are on a relay team, and each of those 8 students runs 1 3/4 miles. Okay, so there's 8 students on a relay team. Each of them run 1 3/4 miles. How many total miles does the team run? Well, we can represent that in a long tape diagram. And if it has 8 parts, let's pretend that those are even, and each part represents 1 3/4. So each of these together is going to equal the total. So 8 times 1 3/4 is going to equal how many? So I need to distribute my 8 to my 1 and then my 8 to my fraction. So we can write that here. 8 times 1 equals 8. Okay? And then 8 times 3/4. What would that equal? Well, remember, we can just put the 8 over 1 and multiply straight across. 8 times 3 is 24. And 1 times 4 is 4. Okay, so I'm going to change this improper fraction to a mixed number. 4 can go into 24 6 times. So now I'm going to add my 2 parts. 8 plus 6 equals 14. So together, total, they ran 14 miles. Okay, and if this whole tape diagram was filled in, it's kind of hard for me to do it on this screen, but you would notice that it's just repeated addition too. You would add each one up together. 1 3/4 8 times, and you would get a total of 14. Okay, next problem. 5 times 8 1/5. Okay, so if you notice, we have a whole number and then we have our mixed number here. So we're doing 5 groups of 8 1/5. So we could do repeated addition. I can write this 5 times, and then I would be adding it all up together. Oops, 1/5 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and last one, 5th one. So I can add all of my whole numbers together first. So 8 plus 8 plus 8 plus 8 plus 8, and then I could add all of the fractions together to get a total. For me, it's a little bit easier to do multiplication, so I'm going to write it out here below. So 5 times 8, because remember, we're distributing the 5 to the 8, equals, not 35, 40. And then 5 times 1/5. We can multiply that. 5 times 1 is 5. 1 times 5 is 5. 5 over 5. That's equal to 1. So now I can add 40 plus 1. The answer is 41. Okay, next problem. 4 times 9 3/4. So again, we're thinking about, 4 times, that means groups of. So there would be 4 9 3/4 here, and we would be adding them up together. Whether you showed this on a tape diagram or you're just writing it out for repeated addition, this represents 4 groups of 9 3/4. So then you would add together all the whole numbers and add together all of the fractions, okay? Or we can do it distributive property. So I'm going to say I want to distribute my 4 to each of the parts in this mixed number. So first I'm going to distribute my 4 to the 9. So 4 times 9. Then I'm going to add the second part, which is 4 times 3/4. 4 times 3/4. And below I can solve it. So step 1 and then step 2. 4 times 9 is going to be 36 plus what's inside the next set of parentheses, 4 times 3/4. So I'm going to do 4 times 3 is 12. And then my denominator is the same. Okay, and this is an improper fraction, so I can go ahead and change this before I add it. 4 can go into 12 3 times. So now I'm just adding step 3. 36 plus 3. That's going to be 39. This is the second one that it's given us our answer as just a whole number, 39. So 4 times 9 3/4 equals 39. All right, next problem. Let's do 5 6/8 times 4. So just because it's written reversed, our whole number is second, doesn't change anything. It still means 4 groups of 5 6/8. So I'm not going to show the repeated addition, but if that works for you, go ahead and write out 5 6/8 4 times and add that up together. I'm going to model the strategy of using distributive property. So 4 times, we want to distribute it to our whole number and our fraction. So 4 times 5, I like doing the whole number first, plus 4 times 6/8. Okay, now step 2 is I can solve it. So 4 times 5 is 20, plus, now I'm going to do what's inside of this set of parentheses, 4 times 6/8. Remember, you can put this over 1 if that helps you, or if you're able to know, oh, I just multiply by my numerator. 4 times 6 is 24, and then I put that over my denominator, 1 times 8, or just 8. So again, what do you notice here? This is an improper fraction, so I need to change that before I can finish adding. So 20 plus, what is 24 over 8? Well, 8 can go into 24 exactly 3 times, so that's going to be 3. Now my final step is to add the two parts together. 20 plus 3 equals 23. So 5 6/8 times 4, or 4 times 5 6/8, that would be the same. They're just reversed. Remember, commutative property says A times B is the same as B times A. 2 times 3 is the same as 3 times 2. We're just switching it, is 23. All right, guys, last example for you. 12 into 6 times 3. And if it helps, you can rewrite this 3 times 12 into 6. Those are the same. Okay, I know that I need to distribute my whole number to each part. 3 times 1, then, not 1, 3 times 12, sorry guys. And then 3 times 2, 6. All right, so let's show that. First step, 3 times 12 plus the second part, 3 times, let's look, I'm distributing it to the fraction now, 2, 6. Okay, second step is I start solving what's inside of the parentheses. 3 times 12 is going to be, if I skip count in my head, 12, 24, 36. Plus, now solve what's inside of this parentheses. I can put that over 1 to make it easy. 3 times 2 is 6. Ooh, over 6. That already equals 1 right there. So now step 3 is to add the two parts together. 36 plus, am I going to add 6 over 6 or I'm going to add 1? I'm going to add 1. And it equals 37. So this one would also equal 37. So 12 into 6 times 3 equals 37. Or 3 times 12 into 6 also equals 37. Notice that I'm always changing my fraction, if I can, to a whole number or a mixed number before I add the two parts. That's super important, because if you give me an answer like this, 31 and 12/3, well, that doesn't make sense because this is an improper fraction. So this needs to be changed before it can be with its whole number partner. Otherwise, that answer is incorrect. Alright guys, that wraps up your Module 5, Lesson 38. I can find the product of a whole number and a mixed number. Great job.